Life is short, yet we spend most of it chasing things that bring only temporary happiness. We forget that every moment is a gift, every breath is a blessing, and every challenge is a lesson sent by God. Today, in just 20 minutes, I want to share with you thoughts that can shift the way you look at yourself, your struggles, and your purpose. If applied, these 20 minutes can truly change your life forever. My friends, success is not just about money, titles, or achievements. True success is about peace within, love in relationships, and purpose in life. God has placed in each of us the power to transform, but often we remain blind to it. The question is not whether life will challenge you, but how you choose to respond. Today, let us open our hearts and minds to a journey where we connect with wisdom, align with higher purpose, and discover how small shifts can bring extraordinary change. Remember, transformation doesn't take years. It takes a decision, a realization, a moment. And that moment can be today. Gratitude is not just a polite thank you or a simple acknowledgement of what we have. It is a deep, life-changing state of mind that transforms the way we experience every single moment of our existence. When we truly live in gratitude, our perspective shifts from scarcity to abundance, from complaints to contentment, from sadness to joy. Imagine this: you wake up in the morning, and instead of rushing to your phone or stressing about your to-do list, you simply pause, take a deep breath, and realize that the breath itself is a gift. You did not create it, you did not buy it, yet it flows effortlessly into your lungs, giving you another chance at life. How often do we stop to appreciate something so basic, yet so essential? Most of us overlook it, but gratitude begins exactly there, in the smallest, simplest blessings that we take for granted. Think of a person who complains every day about their job. They feel stressed, unappreciated, and underpaid. On the other hand, imagine another person working in the same office, doing the same kind of tasks, yet they carry a sense of gratitude within them. They are thankful for the opportunity to learn, thankful for colleagues who sometimes lend a helping hand, thankful for the salary, even if small, that allows them to support their family. Now, both people have the same circumstances, but one lives in frustration while the other lives in peace. What is the difference? Gratitude. Gratitude doesn't change the situation, but it changes the way we experience it. So many of us spend our lives waiting for the big things to be grateful for, waiting for a dream job, waiting for financial success, waiting for the perfect relationship, waiting for happiness. But the secret is that joy does not come after achievements. Joy comes when we appreciate what we already have. Think of a child. Give them a simple toy, even something as small as a balloon, and they jump with excitement. Why? Because their mind has not yet been clouded with constant comparisons. They live in the moment and they value the little things. Gratitude is learning to return to that childlike appreciation for life. Let me share a small but powerful story. There was once a man who always complained about not having good shoes. He would look at others wearing expensive, branded footwear and feel miserable about his own. One day, as he walked home with frustration in his heart, he saw another man sitting by the roadside with no feet at all. In that moment, his complaints disappeared and tears filled his eyes. He realized he had been blind to the blessing he already carried every day, his feet. This story is simple, but it reveals a profound truth. Most of us have countless blessings we do not notice until they are threatened or taken away. Gratitude is about seeing them now without waiting for loss to teach us their value. In our daily lives, gratitude can be practiced in small yet powerful ways. At night, Before you sleep, reflect on 3 things you were grateful for during the day. They don't have to be extraordinary. Maybe someone smiled at you. Maybe you ate a meal you enjoyed. Maybe you got home safely. These little acknowledgements train the mind to focus on abundance rather than lack. Over time, you will notice your stress reducing, your relationships improving, and your heart feeling lighter. Another practical example: when someone does something kind for you, don't just say thanks as a formality. Feel it. Acknowledge the effort they made. Even a small act, someone holding the door open for you, or a colleague helping with a task, becomes meaningful when you let gratitude flow sincerely. Not only does it uplift you, but it also strengthens the bond between you and others. Gratitude, when expressed, has a multiplying effect. It grows both in the giver and the receiver. We must also learn to extend gratitude during tough times. This may sound difficult, even unreasonable, but it is during challenges that gratitude reveals its true power. When life tests you, instead of asking, "Why me?" try asking, "What is this teaching me?" Even pain can become a blessing when it awakens strength within us that we never knew we had. Consider how gold is purified. It is put into fire. Without the fire, its shine would remain hidden. In the same way, our struggles often burn away our weaknesses and reveal our true strength. Gratitude for challenges does not mean we enjoy suffering, but it means we trust the higher plan of God, knowing that there is wisdom behind every event. Gratitude also improves health. Studies have shown that grateful people sleep better, experience less stress, and even have stronger immunity. Why? Because gratitude shifts the mind from anxiety to peace. It calms the nervous system and creates a positive state within. So, when you practice gratitude, you are not only improving your emotional well-being but also your physical health. Finally, gratitude aligns us with God. When we say thank you for the countless blessings around us, our family, our friends, our senses, our opportunities, we acknowledge that we are not the ultimate controller. We realize that much of what we enjoy is not our doing, but a divine gift. This humility connects us to a higher source and fills our heart with reverence. Gratitude is not about ignoring ambitions. It is about pursuing them with contentment in the present. It is about saying, "I am happy with what I have while I work for what I dream." So let us make gratitude our lifestyle, not just an occasional act. Let us train our minds to see blessings where others see problems, to value simplicity where others chase extravagance, and to live joyfully no matter what stage of life we are in. Because when you live with gratitude, you don't just change your outlook, you change your entire life. Discipline is one of those words that people often misunderstand. Many think of it as restriction, as something that takes away freedom, something heavy and uncomfortable. But the truth is, discipline is not a cage, it is a key. It is the key that unlocks potential, the bridge that connects dreams to reality, and the foundation upon which true success and inner peace are built. Motivation can inspire you for a moment, but it is discipline that sustains you for a lifetime. Think about motivation for a second. Imagine you wake up one morning, watch a powerful video, or hear an inspiring story, and suddenly you feel unstoppable. You feel like you can conquer the world. That is motivation. It's like a spark of fire. But how long does it last? A day, a week? Eventually the fire cools and the energy fades. Now, if your life depends only on these fleeting moments of motivation, your journey will always be inconsistent. But discipline is different. Discipline is like the rising sun. It may not be as exciting as fireworks, but it shows up every single day, without fail, bringing light and life to everything it touches. Let us take a very common example: fitness. How many people join a gym at the start of the year full of motivation, saying, "This year I will get healthy"? The first week, they wake up early, go to the gym, eat carefully, and feel amazing. But after 2 or 3 weeks, the motivation begins to fade. They feel tired one morning, so they skip. The next day, they make an excuse. Soon, the gym membership is forgotten, and the dream of health disappears. Why? Because they depended on motivation alone. Now, look at someone who has discipline. That person does not wake up every day with excitement to exercise. Many days they feel lazy too, but their discipline speaks louder than their mood. They go anyway, they train anyway, they eat right anyway. And over time, the results begin to show: health, energy, confidence. This is the power of discipline. It creates results even when motivation is absent. Discipline is not about doing big, extraordinary things. It is about small, consistent actions repeated daily. Just as water dripping on a rock eventually leaves a mark, discipline carves success into your life little by little. Let's say you want to master a new skill, learning a language, playing an instrument, or writing a book. Motivation will get you started, but it will not carry you through. Discipline is sitting down every day for 30 minutes to practice, even on days when you don't feel like it. Over time, those small moments accumulate into mastery. People will look at you and say, "Wow, you're so talented." But you will know the truth. It was not talent, it was discipline. Another everyday example: students. A student who studies only when motivation strikes will have ups and downs in their performance. But a student who develops the discipline of regular study, regardless of mood, builds a strong foundation of knowledge. During exams, when others panic, the disciplined student feels calm because consistency has already prepared them. Life is the same. Discipline prepares you for challenges before they even arrive. We often think freedom means doing whatever we want, whenever we want. But in reality, true freedom comes from discipline. For example, someone who spends recklessly may feel free in the moment, but later they are trapped by debt and financial stress. On the other hand, someone who practices financial discipline, saving, budgeting, controlling impulses, may seem restricted at first, but later they enjoy true freedom because they are not chained by money problems. Discipline may feel tough in the beginning, but in the end, it gives you the life you desire. There is also discipline of the mind. How often do we let our emotions control us? Anger, jealousy, laziness, fear. If you live without discipline, every emotion will toss you around like a leaf in the wind. But when you discipline your mind, you develop the ability to respond wisely instead of reacting impulsively. For example, imagine someone insults you. Without discipline, anger takes over and you explode. Later you regret it. But with discipline, you pause, breathe, and respond with calmness. You maintain your dignity and peace. This is inner discipline, mastery of the self. Discipline is not something that God forces upon us. It is a gift He has placed inside us, a power we can cultivate. Look at nature, it is full of discipline. The sun rises and sets with precision. The seasons change on time. A tree does not stop growing halfway. Rivers do not stop flowing because they don't feel like it. Nature follows discipline. And that is why there is balance and beauty. When we align our lives with discipline, we align with this natural order, and everything begins to flow smoothly. There will be days when you don't feel like doing what is necessary. Days when laziness whispers in your ear, or when the temptation to quit feels strong. It is in those moments that discipline becomes your best friend. Motivation asks, do I feel like it? Discipline says, I will do it anyway. Motivation depends on mood. Discipline depends on commitment. And commitment always wins. Even in spirituality, discipline is vital. Many people wait to pray, meditate, or connect with God only when they feel inspired. But those who create a discipline, daily reflection, daily meditation, daily gratitude, grow steadily in inner peace and wisdom. Just like food nourishes the body daily, discipline nourishes the soul daily. So remember this truth. Motivation is what gets you started, but discipline is what keeps you going. Motivation is like a visitor. It comes and goes. Discipline is like a family member. It stays with you even when times are tough. Discipline is the difference between a wish and a reality, between a dream and an achievement, between an idea and a legacy. If you truly want to change your life, do not chase temporary sparks of motivation. Instead, build the steady flame of discipline. It will light your path every single day, and in time, it will turn your dreams into your destiny. We live in a world that is constantly noisy, not just the sound of traffic, machines, or crowded places, but a much deeper noise. The noise of opinions, the noise of judgments, the noise of comparisons, the noise of endless notifications from our phones that scream for our attention. This noise has become so constant that many people no longer even realize they are trapped in it. They wake up and immediately check what others are doing. They scroll endlessly, and they measure their own life against someone else's highlight reel. Slowly, without noticing, they lose touch with their own inner voice. To detach from this noise is not to abandon life. It is to reclaim life. Imagine a radio. If it is tuned to the wrong frequency, all you hear is static. But once you tune it correctly, clear music flows through. Our minds are like that. When we are tuned into the noise of the world, all we hear is confusion, comparison, and restlessness. But when we tune into the frequency of inner peace, guided by God's wisdom, clarity flows naturally. The problem is that most of us are so drowned in outside voices that we forget to listen to the most important one, the voice inside. Think of a student who wants to choose a career. They may have a passion for art, but society says, there is no money in art, be practical. Their family says, become a doctor, that's respectable. Their friends say, try business, that's where success is. Every direction pulls them, and in this noise, the student forgets their own inner calling. Years later, even if they achieve success, they may feel empty because they lived someone else's dream instead of their own. This is what happens when we fail to detach from the noise. We lose connection with who we truly are. Detaching from the noise does not mean ignoring others or becoming careless. It means learning to filter. Just as you would not eat spoiled food, you should not feed your mind with every opinion, every criticism, every comparison. Ask yourself, is this thought nourishing my growth or draining my peace? If it drains you, detach from it. For example, someone may criticize your work unfairly. Instead of carrying that negativity all day, you can choose to take only the part that helps you improve and leave the rest behind. That is detachment. It is not pushing people away. It is simply refusing to let their noise disturb your peace. Social media is one of the loudest sources of noise today. You may open it for 5 minutes, and suddenly you find yourself comparing your life to someone else's travel pictures, someone else's achievements, someone else's wealth. Without realizing, you begin to feel that your own life is small or unworthy. But pause for a moment. Do you really know the whole truth behind those pictures? People show you what they want you to see, not the complete reality. Yet, in comparing, you lose gratitude for your own journey. Detachment here means reminding yourself that your path is unique, your timing is different, and your worth is not measured by likes or comments. Let me share a simple story. There was once a wise monk walking through a marketplace with his disciple. The marketplace was full of people shouting, bargaining, selling, and arguing. The disciple felt disturbed and asked, "Master, how can anyone remain peaceful in such noise?" The monk smiled and said, "Close your eyes for a moment." The disciple closed his eyes, and the monk asked, "What do you hear?" The disciple replied, "I hear the sound of a bird in the distance." The monk said, "When you tune your mind, even in the middle of chaos, you can hear the softest song. That is the art of detachment." This story shows us that peace is not about escaping noise, but about learning where to place your attention. In daily life, we can practice detachment by creating quiet moments for ourselves. Even 5 minutes of silence in the morning, sitting without a phone, without distraction, can reset the mind. In that silence, you reconnect with your own thoughts, your own values, and with God. It is in those still moments that creativity arises, solutions appear, and inner strength grows. Many of history's greatest thinkers, leaders, and visionaries were people who valued silence and detachment. They understood that without withdrawing from noise, true clarity cannot come. Detachment also protects our relationships. When we are too attached to what others think, we become slaves to their opinions. If they praise us, we feel high. If they criticize us, we feel low. But when we learn detachment, we remain steady. Praise doesn't make us arrogant, and criticism doesn't break us. For example, imagine you cook a meal, and one guest loves it while another complains. If you attach your peace to their words, you will be tossed up and down. But if you detach, you can appreciate feedback without losing balance. That balance is what keeps relationships healthy and peaceful. There will always be noise in the world. People will always have opinions. Society will always compare. Technology will always distract. But the power lies within you to decide how much of that noise you allow into your heart. Detachment is not about running away. It is about standing in the middle of the storm and still remaining calm. It is about choosing peace over pressure, clarity over confusion, and authenticity over approval. So, the next time the world becomes noisy, pause and remind yourself, this is not my truth, this is only noise. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and connect with the quiet strength inside you. Because when you detach from the noise outside, you finally hear the voice that matters most, the voice of your own soul, guided by God's wisdom. And that voice, once heard, will lead you to a life of peace, purpose, and true freedom. To serve is to live with purpose. Every flower that blooms does not bloom for itself. Its colors, its fragrance, its beauty, all are gifts for the world around it. The sun does not rise each morning thinking, "What can I get today?" It rises to give warmth, light, and life to everything it touches. Rivers do not flow only to quench their own thirst. They flow to nourish lands, animals, and people along their path. In the same way, our lives were never meant to be lived only for ourselves. True fulfillment, the kind that lasts beyond achievements and possessions, comes when we shift from asking, "What can I get?" to asking, "What can I give?" Many people spend years chasing happiness through material gain. They collect wealth, possessions, recognition, and yet something always feels incomplete. It is like filling a cup with water that leaks through tiny cracks. It never stays full. Why? Because happiness that comes only from taking is temporary. but happiness that comes from giving is eternal. Think of the times you helped someone in need, a friend who was struggling, a stranger who needed directions, a child who needed encouragement. Do you remember the feeling that followed? That deep warmth in your heart, a satisfaction that no amount of money could buy. That is the joy of service. It nourishes both the giver and the receiver. Let me share a simple example. Imagine two people walking home in the rain. One person only thinks about how wet and miserable they are. The other notices an old man without an umbrella, shivering, and decides to share theirs. Both of them are wet, both of them reach home tired, but one carries irritation while the other carries peace. What changed the experience? The choice to serve. Service transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary experiences. There was once a story of a wealthy man who wanted to find true happiness. He traveled to many places, bought luxuries, and indulged in pleasures, yet his heart remained restless. One day, while walking, he saw a poor woman feeding her last piece of bread to a hungry child. She smiled, even though she had nothing left for herself. The wealthy man felt a shift in his heart. He realized that in giving, she had found something he could not buy. That day, he started serving others, and for the first time, he discovered peace. This story shows us that happiness is not in what we hold tightly, but in what we let flow through us. Service does not always mean doing something huge. It does not mean you have to change the whole world at once. It begins with small acts of kindness done with sincerity. Smiling at someone who feels unnoticed, listening to someone who feels unheard, helping a colleague without expecting credit, sharing what little you have with someone who has less. These are seeds of service. Just as a tiny seed grows into a giant tree, small acts of kindness create waves of impact that you may never even see. One powerful truth is that when we serve, we also heal ourselves. Many people feel lonely, anxious, or stuck in life because their focus is only inward, on their own struggles and desires. But when they step out and serve, they shift their energy outward. They stop obsessing over my pain, my problems, my worries, and begin to see that others are struggling too. In serving them, they find perspective, strength, and healing. A young student once told me, "I was depressed for months, but when I started volunteering at an orphanage, my sadness began to fade. The children gave me smiles I didn't even know I needed." Service has this miraculous power. It brings meaning where there was emptiness. There is also a deeper spiritual beauty in service. When we serve selflessly, we become instruments of God's love and compassion. Just as rain nourishes fields without asking for anything in return, we too can become channels through which goodness flows into the world. The moment we think, "What I have is not mine alone, but a gift entrusted to me to share," we rise above selfish living and step into divine living. Service also creates stronger relationships. Imagine a family where everyone is only focused on what they can get. Arguments will be constant, love will fade. But imagine a family where each member asks, "How can I make life easier for the others?" Suddenly, harmony blooms, bonds strengthen, and love grows naturally. The same applies to friendships, workplaces, and communities. Service is the glue that holds people together. Sometimes people hesitate to serve because they think, "I don't have much to give." But service is not about quantity, it is about quality. A kind word can serve, a gentle touch can serve. Even a silent prayer for someone can serve. What matters is not how much you give, but the heart with which you give it. A small candle can light up a dark room. And in the same way, even a small act of service can brighten someone's day. Let us also remember that service is not a one-way gift. The person you serve may receive your help, but you receive something even greater, a sense of connection, humility, and peace. It reminds you that you are part of something larger than yourself, that your life has value beyond your own needs. Service makes life meaningful, and meaning is the foundation of true happiness. So let us not just exist, moving mechanically from one day to another, chasing goals that leave us empty. Let us live with purpose by serving. Whether in small gestures or larger actions, let our presence in the world leave behind ripples of kindness. Because at the end of our journey, people will not remember how much we owned, but how much we gave, how much we loved, and how much we served. And in those moments of service, we will realize a profound truth, that we were never just meant to survive, we were meant to serve.